All right, welcome. Come on in. We'll give people time to get in here. I'll go ahead and run the intro to the Knowledge Well Media, and we'll get started. Interesting topic here. Thanks for joining. A6 should be right with us. Welcome. First of all, let me know how my sound is out there. Hopefully it's not too loud, too bright. Let me know any quality issues. I appreciate your comments. Comment section is alive. If you want to put your comments in there, if you want to get in on the conversation. Hot topic. I had to jump on here. A6 hit me up and was like, man, we got to discuss this right off the bat. Like this is very relevant, especially to those that are addressing the issue of status corrections and nationalities and what have you. So A6 should be here soon. And then we will actually run the video from the discussion and the vote that was taken in order to discuss what we will be discussing tonight, which is Washington, D.C. becoming the 51st state in the Union. So welcome. Feel free to put your comments in the comment section. I also did put the live stream link there in the comments to join. A6 should be joining us shortly here. But yes, very important topic tonight having to do with the Washington, D.C. becoming the 51st state. And we all know that Washington, D.C. had been classified as 10 miles square, right? And that jurisdictional area. So what does that mean now that they're talking about essentially making it the 51st state? Okay, so there's a lot of details in there. We are waiting on A6 to join in. I did invite A6. I did put the link to the StreamYard. There it is on the screen now. Come on in if you can get in. All right. So Knowledge Well Media, special edition, breaking news. We should be joined by A6 here shortly. Brought this to my attention. Several of you actually did. And the link is in the chat. I did put it there. It's up on it's probably the very first comment there. So do you see it or do I need to? It should be on the screen right now. I'm sharing it on the screen. Should be up there. Welcome. Very hot topic tonight, discussing Washington, D.C. And if you have been doing your research and your due diligence, you know the importance of this discussion here tonight and what this means. All right, I'll put it back in the chat again. I did put it in there, A6. Here, I'll put it back in there again. All right, there's the StreamYard link. All right. Gary Mendez says, methinks a new corporation is being set up. We are in the trillions of dollars of debt, and some new corporation will be made to absolve it. They will forgive all debts and offer us digital money. All right. I mean, that's definitely possible. Oh, A6 is here. We will discuss that, though, Gary. Thanks for your comment. We will welcome A6.
What up? How y'all doing? You know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. Let's chop this fable, folks. My man, Knowledge Well, the foreign national, born natural A6. So let's chop this up, fellas. What are we talking about here, man? We talking about Washington, D.C. is supposed to be reclassified or turned into a state. So we've all know, like my man said here, The argument has been made for a very long time. The United States is a corporation. The United States factually is in a 10-mile square of Washington, D.C. itself. So that would make that particular place the United States, and everything else is the Republic technically. So with the this statute, because you were telling me about this, I believe it was a statute, or I don't think it was a law. I think it was a statute. But you were saying that there was something where if you have a situation where you have one state that has some kind of situation going on, like some kind of legal ramification or something, that other states have to adhere by it, like similar for like a license or something like that. If you have a license in Arkansas, you can still drive in Texas or Maryland. You know what I mean? It's that similar thing.
Right. It's the full faith and credit. And there's also a certain clause. I'll look it up while you're talking, but there is a clause. I know there's the supremacy clause that has to do with the federal courts or what have you, and the federal regulations, keeping everybody pretty much on center, and in unanimity. And I will find that clause though that you're referring to. But yes, each states in the union are supposed to respect the other passages of certain rules and laws and stuff like that, so that there's a uniformity. Yes,
exactly. I know you were telling me something about that. So with that said, man, let's look at the possible ramifications of what could happen. So I mean, they're trying to alleviate basically alleviate the private. That's what it seems like to me. They're trying to entail everything within the public side, so that you can't have any private matters as such. Of course, like things like trust and things like that, they're pretty much indestructible. But as far as, passports and things of that nature, do you think it would be possible that would affect something like that?
Yes, because I personally think there's something bigger going on here, and I don't typically do too much in the public, but I think this warrants us a little deeper discussion. And most of the people on here are yours, or your particular followers or mine. So we can have that discussion. What I do want to do before we really get going, though, A6, is I want to actually run the footage. I'll run the footage from the actual vote taking place, so that everybody can catch up on what's actually going on, because some people just haven't even heard this yet. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So we'll run that right now so that everybody can kind of catch up with what is actually going on. All right. So stay tuned. Here we go. Tell me if you can hear it.
It can continue to exclude D.C. residents from the democratic process, forcing them to watch from the sidelines as Congress votes on federal and D.C. laws, and to treat them, in the words of Frederick Douglass, as aliens, not citizens, but subjects, end quote. Or it can live up to our nation's founding principles. Join the 54% of Americans, that is 54%, Mr. Speaker, and growing, who support D.C. statehood, and pass H.R. 51.
Let's be clear what H.R. 51 is all about. It's about Democrats adding 2 new progressive U.S. senators to push a radical agenda championed by the Squad to reshape America into the socialist utopia they always talk about.
The real power grab is denying 712,000 tax-paying American citizens the right to vote. That's the power grab. This isn't about politics. It's a fundamental voting and civil rights issue.
Our founders got it right. This measure gets it wrong. If D.C. surrenders the special status of our federal district and instead becomes one of 51 equals, why should it enjoy all the benefits of also being the federal district?
On this vote, the yeas are 216, the nays are 208. The bill is passed.
So you see what happened there?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Here's the thing, man. Like, anytime they push these, if you ever notice, when they get ready to push this stuff that's not going to be really helpful to anybody, they always got some downtrodden, beaten Negro to stand on the front line. Yo, the front line and bring up Frederick Douglass. Like, yo, first off, if anybody knew anything about the United States, basically United States Corporation, it was originally designed in order for Negroes to be 14th Amendment slaves. The ones who were, let's call them melanotically challenged or whatever, or people who were, Caucasian, I guess you would call them. They were not even supposed to be 14th Amendment citizens. That was only supposed to be for free slaves. Right. So like all the slaves pretty much were supposed to be in Washington, D.C. inside this imaginary gate thinking they were free. Meanwhile, they're the ones who are paying taxes and such and heavily regulated. Meanwhile, state citizens and you can classify them as foreign nationals, even American nationals in Maryland and Texas and California, wherever, basically were supposed to be the ones that were technically free. It was never supposed to be whites and blacks both being 14th Amendment citizens. So the fact that she's out here saying shit like this, knowing what Frederick Douglass fought and stood for, is basically ass backwards. And this is the kind of shit they put on front line to get the liberal agenda pushed forward more. Now, I'm not into the liberal conservative debate because I think both of them are full of shit, honestly. Right. But it's too obvious to see what's happening right now.
Yeah, and from my perspective, as soon as you brought this to my attention, right away, I mean, I just did a class. Most of you haven't been in there, but some of you are. And we went back into history, 1781, when we were under the Articles of Confederation. And I outlined the history of how from 1781 to 1788, they essentially threw that out. The Congress, who is the regulatory body over this area called the District of Columbia. Okay. And they threw away the Articles of Confederation, essentially the independent, powerful, sovereign nations, threw that away, and we ended up being joined into this this federal union, or the United East States, or AKA United States. And in that, we became in this union. And basically, all of our individuality was gone. We pledged everything up to this federal corporation. You can look in 28 USC 3002-15A, where the United States is or means a federal corporation.
Exactly.
So now the real discussion here is the United States being a federal corporation. Now, what they're proposing is to essentially, and it is essentially to cordon, and that's the verbiage that they actually used, is cordon off a section of DC and keep the Washington Mall, the mall, the White House, and the Capitol building as its own, and then basically oust out everybody else in the surrounding areas, making those part of the 51 states.
Wow. So they're basically going to keep that little corner and just kick everybody else the hell out. But I guarantee you, here's the thing. This is what doesn't make sense to me. All right, follow me on the facts here.
All right.
Is Washington, D.C. right now a state?
No.
Exactly. Is Washington, D.C. right now my train of thought. I'm trying to get to this point. All right.
It's a district.
Right. It's not officially a is it its own, it's not even a city, it's this district pretty much, or what have you. So with that said, why the hell are people paying taxes in Washington, D.C.? How is it that if it's not an actual state itself, people are still paying those two-level taxes? They're paying federal taxes and they're paying the other tax, the state tax, pretty much. So you got people getting double tax as far as I'm seeing it.
Well,
why is that?
They said that they're paying more than any of the other states.
How is that though? Like, how is that possible? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I promise you that, it's going to pretty much be the same situation if they change it over to a state. That's what I would think anyway. I don't ever see them charging less taxes.
I think there's something more nefarious going on, to be true, to be honest with you. I mean, think of the timing of everything that's going on.
Right.
The race riots are about to explode again. Okay. Multiple, now that shooting, the girl that got killed over the knife issue. Okay. I'm not saying that the cop was wrong. I'm not saying she was wrong.
It's not important at this point.
That's not important. It's just the climate. Okay. Now, I've never seen the movie The Purge. But in my imagination, I was actually going to sit down and watch it before I got on here because I said this has to be written just like the movie The Purge. In that the climate, everything is unstable right now. Okay, the George Floyd thing just wrapped up. I know that we haven't seen the end of that.
Right.
But okay, that, and I know your position on that. I've heard your position on that.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes right now, let's just look at the whole climate. Let's look at coronavirus. Let's look at the vaccine debacle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at all of these things, and all of it's coming to a crescendo. And then in the midst of it all, they're establishing a kingdom.
Exactly. So yeah, that makes sense. Like they've always had this thing where they want to turn it into a big chaotic Royal Rumble, pretty much, so to speak. And then they want to have somebody come in and lay down order, and basically everybody loves that person. It says in the Bible also. So you have that one that rises out of chaos and tries to organize everything, but it'll actually be taking you to the other side. So with that said, there still has to be, now this is what I'll say to my nationals, there still has to be that open gate. And we've talked about this on my channel. Even if there's a situation where there's a giant gate and everybody's picking cotton on the gate, so to speak, and even if the gate, you can't even see the edge of it. You have to walk around to the perimeter, and maybe far off in the distance, you see a shitload of trees, and the gate goes behind the trees. And people just say, oh, yeah, it's probably just trees behind that gate, or gate behind the tree. And one guy goes over and see there's a hole in the fence to escape, because there has to be a hole in the gate in order for it to not be slavery. So with that said, I would say that there has to be some way out. So there would still have to be an opening for people to still be able to move privately in some capacity, even if it's not the same channels that we used before. But I think this is the time to get on the same note that Courtney was talking about with getting your stuff taken care of and handling your affairs, because this passport thing might not last much longer, man. It really might not. I think he might have been right about this.
Listen. Why do you think they got the thing called the Real ID? You think they really pushed that? You think you think they rolled that out yet? You ain't seen nothing yet. Their plan is to get you to the point where you beg for it. Now, what we're looking at here is the Hegelian, I think it's called the dialectic, right? Okay, the problem, reaction, solution.
Right.
Government has co-opted the totality of power, and they've taken it from you because you are no longer administering. That's why we need public servants. You're no longer administering anything. The Cesta KP Trust, nothing. They got public trustees to do what you should have been doing. So we essentially sat dormant, taking subsidies, benefits from the government. And so they hired foreign agents, AKA, or otherwise known as the Foreign Agent Registration Act. See, they've been here.
Right. And
they just let you guys and the U.S. citizens sit back, relax, catch a contact, right? They pacified us and let us do that, and they handled all the work.
Exactly.
In the political realm. Now, what are the repercussions of that? Now they're like a tick that's becoming embedded in the fabric of our existence.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how hard it is to get a tick out?
Right.
That's what we're facing now.
Exactly.
So, I'm going to pull this up real fast because Joseph asked a good question right there on the screen. What kind of district is DC? So let me show this right here real quick. Here's the definition of district. This is just a general definition.
You got to blow that up, man. That's kind of small.
All right. Working on it now.
That's much better.
All right. Let's see if I can center that.
Yeah.
Here's your definition of district. How's that?
Yes, perfect.
So it's an area of a country. Listen, an area of a country, not a country or city, especially one regarded as what? Distinct. If you were in class yesterday, remember this word? Distinct, separate, set apart, unit. Because of a particular characteristic. What is the characteristic of the DC area? What is their characteristic?
Corporation.
It's the corporate headquarters. It's the
Right.
10 mile square.
Facts. Facts.
That's what it is.
Yep.
So that's what we're dealing with. They all they're doing is coming to power. That's it.
That's all they're doing. That's crazy because, like you said, we basically sat back so long and nobody was reading and nobody was doing the research. And as a result, right now, we got to deal with this. So now the monster has proverbially gone Super Saiyan 2 because it was already in full gear with this whole COVID thing. And then with this, this situation happening, I call this Super Saiyan 2. So like now we're fighting a stronger being, like not fighting physically, but like, dealing with a stronger being. And who knows, man, because this could be a whole different set of rules. And it just the question marks are too great. And we kind of earned this, by just sitting back and letting this happen. I mean, hey, like I said, man, I'm no guy to dodge responsibility. I just started getting into this stuff recently. I could have been doing this.
Right.
But, happens when it happens. So, I mean, it's better now than never, I suppose. But now it's needed more than ever for people to get on their square and know what the hell they're doing because this is suspect as hell, And I've heard the Bad Wolf actually said they've been talking about this since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And a few other people were saying they've been talking about this for a long time. But it's always one of those things where they got to tell you what they're going to do first. I mean, it's the same thing with anything they do. They have to notify you of what's going to happen first. And, if you think black magic and all that stuff these people are into, this is all ritualistic. I mean, we talk about Bohemian Grove and all that stuff. This all ties a factor. So they have to notify what's going to happen, basically, in order for it to happen. So I consider this something as notification, what they've been talking about all this time. And I'm thinking right now with the way it is, you got Biden as quote unquote president. You've got the, I think they have the House in leadership, if I'm not mistaken, right? The Democrats. Am I right about that?
Democrats are in power.
Exactly. They've got everything they basically need to push this thing forward. I don't see it stopping, man. So this might be the last straw for the Republic, to be honest with you, man. And I hate to say it, but the Republic in terms of, the ones who are standing up to try to give off the image that they're fighting for something. No. Otherwise, man, you really just have to hit the books and learn it yourself or just listen to guys like us.
Yeah, there's nothing going. There's nothing moving. There's nothing moving. And I'm sorry to tell you, the Republic is gone. That went out the door right here, right there, right here. It was already gone because nobody was doing anything. Nobody
it was dormant. Yep.
All right. So, but now they're pulling out all the stops. They're doing things so outlandish that people, the average individual, don't even realize what's happening.
Exactly. I had people I actually saw people cheering for this shit. Like when you watch the footage and watch people in the crowd, you literally had people jumping for joy and were happy about this.
Right.
I'm just thinking in my head, you have no idea what's about to happen.
That's the same thing I said. Okay. I mean, you mentioned the Bohemian Grove and all that kind of thing. The spiritual aspect, or the religious aspect, I should say, that is intertwined into this whole debacle paradigm, whatever you want to call it or name it. It was all a trick. It was all a trick. Okay, and I got more.
You got to break that down, bro.
Yeah, I got lots of evidence. I got lots of evidence. A lot of times I don't put it out there, but I got lots of evidence. I've untangled this thing for quite a while, and it's done. It's a wrap. But like I said, I don't put everything in public, but I will share some things. But yes, all the occultic, the esoteric symbolisms, and all that kind of stuff. This is all stolen cultures from people that were subverted, okay? And they just took it over and they use it, okay? That's all when you see all the Egyptian hieroglyphs, you see the mummies, you see the Kabbalah stone basically set up in the Washington D.C. When you see the obelisk and all that kind of stuff, that's all stolen technology. That's all it is. And so you see they are ushering in this one world government. They want total control. Okay. And yes, they do have to show what they're going to do before they do it, but they put it in code. All right. Because he who is ignorant, let him remain ignorant. That's how they see things. This is a game. You just don't see it as a game because you don't know how to play it. Mm-hmm. But it is a game. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section. You think I need to run that video again, or are we good?
I think there was another video I actually saw. Hold on, let me see if I can find that bad boy.
Yeah, if you give me the link, I can put it up.
Yeah, hold up.
But
Came in.
this is what. Oh, sorry about that. I cut you out. Hold on. This is what we're dealing with, everyone. The District of Columbia becoming the 51st state in the United States. Okay, and in 1789, between 1789, I'll say, and 1801, that's when the District of Columbia was formed. Why? Because they wanted a new seat of power over the federal corporation. Okay, and all of the states, starting with the first 13 in the first 13 colonies, essentially were saturated with debt. Okay, and what they did was they certified that debt through certifications. Okay, aka birth certificates, certificates of live birth. Okay, to the bond markets, to the Treasury, and then the Treasury went to the Federal Reserve, the international bankers. Okay, and that's how your money, your digital currencies are created, right, out of thin air, because they're certifying all of your certifications. Okay, on your back, you are the energy to the system. Most of you already know that.
Yep.
So if you look at the Funding Act, and I'll pull that up in a little bit as we talk, it gives you the whole details of the certification and how that process even works. See, they put it right there. It's not hidden from you.
None of this stuff is hidden. Yeah.
They put it right in your face. You just have to research and study. And they put you in the public fool system to unteach you, or if that makes sense, or to take away the critical thought that makes you ask questions. So again, going back, reiterating on the religious part of things, religion teaches you to rely instead of to critically think. It teaches you faith as opposed to asking questions and getting your answers. If you see the thumbprint, it's the same thumbprint throughout history. It's take the books away, keep you ignorant, keep you dumbed down. And they're doing it today.
They always have been. Yeah. Absolutely.
What are these? You want to read the questions off?
Could a political system be construed as a corporation?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can't see any of the other comments, so that's going to be on your end.
All right, I'll get them up there. Joseph.
Wait a minute. I can see him. Hold on. I clicked over. I can see him. All right, continue.
Yes. Could a political system? Have you looked up the word political? Politics is just the study, or no, excuse me. It's the science of government. That's politics. Well, what is science? The study of something. What is government? Govern means to control. Ment comes from the Latin mentes, which means the mind or the head. So politics is really the study of controlling your mind or your head.
And I've been saying this for a while too. If you take a look at the word television, it's television. They're telling you the vision that they want you to image in your mind, let alone those studies they did years ago where they were using subliminal messages in between the movie advertisements. And they had noticed that with that special they had done, I can't remember what year it was. I think it might have been in the 60s or 70s, but they did a subliminal advertising where they would flash a Coca-Cola real fast every so often. And they noticed a increase in concessions for Coca-Cola and things of that nature. Whatever they decided to advertise on, it worked. And they said that they took it off because it was unethical. But if you think for 1 second, if you think for 1 second that stuff wasn't being used, even music and stuff like that. I mean, all this stuff, they were backmasking records for a while. All this stuff, yes, sir. All of this stuff was basically put in place to govern your mental. Your mind is a lot stronger than people give it credit for. Your mind can decipher all these messages in the music, forwards, backwards, ups, downs, ins, and outs. It's the subconscious that's the most powerful. The conscious is the weak part.
Right.
The subconscious is the most strongest. That's why. Have you ever been like just doing something randomly and you start singing words to a song you didn't even know you knew the words to, word for word, and you catch yourself like, what the hell? I didn't think I even knew that. It's the subconscious. All that stuff. When songs randomly pop up in your head, it's all subconscious, man.
Yeah.
All that stuff is. And it's, again, that's what they want to control. They don't care about the conscious state because that's the weakest form. They want your subconscious, which a lot of people, for instance, like even with these passports, let's just think about it from that standpoint. When I first got mine, I still, even though I understood what it meant, I was still acting as if I was a U.S. citizen. Like, oh, I better be careful how I move around here because I'm going to get arrested. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I have my passport. Okay. But the subliminal or the subconscious, messaging put in the head pretty much was already programmed. So it takes a while to deprogram yourself. But it's 100% fact, man. All of this stuff was stuff that was used. Operation Mockingbird. Let me look that. I think this was something else they had used too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna let you take over while I look this up, Courtney.
Yep. Chris Villarreal says, "What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? Shout out. You on the road? You trucking? I heard that California is going to get broken up into 3 states."
I heard Texas was gonna pull out of the union pretty much.
Oh, they've been trying to do that for a long time.
They've been trying to do I think it's a lot of shit is about to happen, Did you hear about constitutional carry in Texas?
What is that?
Did you hear about constitutional carry in Texas?
Well, they were always open carry, right?
Here's the thing. Yeah, it's open carry basically for if you have, I think it's a permit only or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But they're trying to move for constitutional carry, which means you don't need any permission from the government at all in order to bear arms. Okay. I'm not mistaken. I think it's 20, might be 30 states already have constitutional carry right now. And if you look back about like 15, even 10 years ago, there was only 4. So like stuff is changing. And I think what's happening, man, I think what might be happening is we might see a split of different factions. We might see California split up. We might see Texas break off. We might see a few other states decide to completely go a different way. I mean, this whole election thing, what's happening with COVID, all of this is a sudden shift in our structure as we know it. And it's happening right in front of our eyes. And it's just a shame people aren't paying attention to it, because it'll be another one of those situations like when people turned in their gold and their silver and they turn around and now you owe shitloads of debt. And now you can't get a job because you owe debt. And now you owe your college $100,000 you'll never be able to pay, because guess what? You can't get a job in the goddamn field that you went there for. Right. And this is the whole problem. This stuff gets found out later when it's too late. So, I mean, I just wish people would wake up. Absolutely.
Cooper the Trooper, welcome. And subconscious plays a lot of roles in your conscious and actions and reactions. Very good. Absolutely. Joseph said, I've done that, A6. What is that you're referring to?
He's talking about the reciting lyrics subconsciously.
Oh, yeah.
Like lyrics I didn't even think I knew. I'm singing the lyrics of songs I didn't even, like, if I tried to remember the words, I wouldn't even know where to start. But then I'm just randomly saying the word, the whole verse, like, yo, wait a minute. What?
That reminds me, we got to be real careful, because do you go to sleep with music and stuff like that and the TV on and all that?
Nope, absolutely not.
I mean, that is so dangerous. That
yes,
is so dangerous. They've already done lots of studies on that. So be careful. You don't know what's going on, man. You giving what's her name? Siri. You giving what's her name? What's the other one's name? Alexa. Mm-hmm. You giving them, I mean, as soon as you say their name, they wake up and start talking to you, don't they?
Yeah. Man, I don't have any of that crap, dude. Like, that shit freaked me out, dude. I used to have Google, the little speaker or whatever, and I thought it was the baddest ass thing when I first got it back in like 2015. So I got the joint. I was like, yo, this is dope. I can just get a recipe so I can make dinner. I can Google this, that. When does this movie start? Such and such. Then one day I was in bed about to go to sleep, and all I heard was, I didn't get that. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah. That was it for me, yo. I turned that shit off. I put that shit in the closet. I took the cord and put it in another room just so somebody don't hook that shit up.
I know.
That shit bothered. I was like, no, I'm good with that, yo. If I need to know something, I'll ask it myself. I'm good. That shit was just, it just says, to me, it says it's listening all the time. You feel me? So nah, I'm good on that. Even the phones we have, yo, like the phones are doing the same shit for real. You feel me?
And that's the whole plan. And I hope we get to touch on that. I'm gonna write that down as a note. But we need to touch on the stars on the passport. I hope Kelly joins tonight. She said she would be watching. She don't know if she'll be able to get in. But we had a great discussion, actually, and I recorded it, so I will be chopping it up and putting it up. But we discussed the stars on the passport, what they potentially mean. And we are coming down to the point of it having to do with your gene, your haplotype group or haplogroup. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more research into it before I really lay it down, but I'm pretty certain it has to do with your haplogroup, your blood type. They said that old blood types, and I probably shouldn't even be touching this. They're going to cut us off, ain't they?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, it's already starting to skip.
Is it? Oh, never mind. Never mind. We ain't touching it.
Yeah, we got to go on that another day, bro.
We'll wait. We'll wait.
It's already starting to skip. Your voice started getting real robotic. You sound like Dr. Doom for a second, man.
But yeah, that's we got something there.
Man, facts.
Hold on. Chris said he's okay. Chris, you in the hotel tonight? Yep. Here we go. Gary Mendez. Yep. A6. Check out Brendan O'Connell 2 channel on YouTube. He talks about how the elites want to break up the U.S. Great channel to check out. Thank you, Gary. And Auto. What is this? Here we go.
I mean, at the end of the day, let's face it, yo. There's no possible way there would be an on-foot invasion with America the way it is right now. I mean, I think it was. Do you remember what? I think it was Mao Zedong or something like that. One of those. It might have been a Japanese emperor. That he was basically saying that it would be impossible to invade the United States because there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. So, like, if you can divide certain cities or certain areas that don't want guns and want to basically not have any AR-15s or things like that, as opposed to ones that do, like, right. It's so much of an easier fight because you know what areas to attack and what it's all military. And if you read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, I mean, divide and conquer is a great technique. I mean, this is you get them to fight amongst each other, and then you swoop in while they're fighting amongst each other, and you just go ahead and take everything over. Please, if you haven't read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, please read that book.
Yeah,
please.
And that's the move. That's the move. If you want to know my opinion based on good research, all right, what they're going to do, and I mentioned it earlier, you're about to see the purge scenario.
Yeah, maybe. I would hope not. I think it might be, if it may be the purge or it might be a psyop to be the purge. No, I don't know.
look, you said it yourself. Okay, there's a gun behind every door. They're not going to do that. What they will do, however, is give us all the guns and let us fight it out.
Holy shit.
That's what I contend is about to happen. And that's why I contend that they're shrinking DC. And they're going to protect the Capitol, the mall, and and White House. They're going to. It's already the National Guard is already there.
Yeah, they've already got a fence around the Capitol Hill and all that stuff, right?
Because they're preparing for what's about to happen. So the United States is a ticking time blank. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I got you.
And something's going to push it over the edge. Between the COVID, the race riots, the police shootings, the gender strife, all of that, something's going to push it over the edge. This is what I'm saying. All right. Mark my word. Something's going to push it over, and it's going to happen very soon because they made their last move. The last move is to make Washington, D.C., shrink it down, kick everybody out. Did you know that Washington, D.C., they said is 46% black? Black. I don't like that term, but that's what they say.
Yeah, I feel you.
And guess what? Majority minorities. I mean, majority non-white. That's what they said. What is that? Something wrong with that picture, ain't it?
You said Washington, D.C.?
The District of Columbia.
Yeah. I mean, that's known. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But what does that tell you? What does that tell you? What they did. Look what they just did. You just said it. You just talked about the 14th Amendment and how the surrounding areas were supposed to be where the white people are, and they were keeping the slaves close to the District of Columbia, right? Making them 14th Amendment citizens. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. What they're doing, listen what they're doing. They're going to cordon off the White House, the National Mall, and the Capitol building. And they're going to make everywhere else one of the 51 states.
Interesting. Yo, that's a hell of a theory, man. That's a hell of a theory.
No, that's not a theory. I can show it to you. That's what they said. I read their article. That's what that's what is in the bill.
Shit. And how many pages is that bill? Because they passed these bills for like 30,000 pages.
You ain't gonna read that bill. You ain't gonna read that bill. You'll see all the pork in it, but you're not gonna get down to you never find that.
Right.
But they outlined what I read when you sent me this. I did digging right away. And what I found is their plan. And see, because of the fact that I'm informed, I can see past what they put, Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Because I've done my background research. And if you go into some of my archives for my CCOP research, especially, I was cracking heads on that one. Mm-hmm. But and I'll share some of that. I'll have to bring that out now that basically I was predicting this right here.
What?
No, listen. I'm gonna show you. Let's get to some of these questions. We'll get back. Joseph said, "Laugh out loud. Save the haplotype for private." Ha ha ha. Yeah, y'all been skipping for a minute.
Told you. Told you. Hold on. Keep reading them. I'll be right back.
All right. Cooper the Trooper said, "Big facts." A6. All right. Auto. I can't. What? Something digit. Okay. Oh, word. About. Okay. Cool. Welcome. We got A6 in the house. We're over here discussing Washington D.C., District of Columbia, becoming the 51st state. Thanks for joining in. Hey, y'all should all be hitting that like. Hit that like button for us. All right. Divide and conquer is tried and true. Absolutely. What, Joseph? A6. By the way, I'm getting my hands on Commercial Transactions around Tuesday. Oh, you're getting that book. That's my Bible. Everybody should get this. Everybody.
Which one is that?
I know it's backwards. It's called.
Yeah, I gotta grab that joint. Yo, yeah, I literally just got my hands on a good copy of the Black's Law. I got the bullshit one. You already know about that, but
yeah.
I'm gonna compare the two with my my bullshit copy and my true copy, and I'm also gonna get my hands on that UCC joint, the green book. Got to get that joint, and then because these books aren't cheap. I mean, it's $216, but it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question though: are we even gonna need the UCC anymore soon?
Okay, so what is that? What is the UCC for? It's for regulation of commerce and trade, right? Mm-hmm. Internationally and internationally. I doubt if they're going to get rid of that. That's not the problem. I told you what's going to happen. Now you're about to see that my research has actually put me on point. Because those who are playing in this game thinking that they're actually making headway, they're about to strip all that fat out of there. And if they find that you ain't playing the game the way that the game is supposed to be played, they're going to put you in that citizenship. You're going to be one of that U.S. citizenship. They're going to stamp your butt with one of them federal ID cards. And that's going to be a wrap.
Yeah. I'm glad we had that conversation last week, though, because we just talked about that. Yeah. Said, that's private, though, but we just talked about consult. Get with Knowledge Well, because he's trying to help y'all. Get with Knowledge Well, man, because he definitely put me on the right path. The passport is only a small piece of the pie, bro. If they get rid of that whole situation, bro, you better have your stuff correct. That's all I'm gonna say. But my man's speaking facts right here. 100.
They only, honest to God, listen to me, y'all. They only touch their own. Because they are by the book, they are by the contract. Mm-hmm. You are the one who is giving them jurisdiction by your contracting and by you claiming to be a citizen. Did you look up what a citizen is? That's all I'm saying, man. I'm warning people. I'm warning. They about to come.
They on the way, man.
They on their way.
Yo, they on the way, man. Hey,
that's
good info right there, man. Good info. So check this out. I was talking to a private source of mine, and I happened to stumble across this gem right here. All right, so everybody, not to change the subject too much, but
commercial break.
Commercial break. Yeah, I'm just going to zip this past everybody because I want you guys to know this. We'll go more in depth on this on my channel on Sunday. Everybody who watches know I go live on Sundays. So get a look at this right here.
All right. Constitution of Maryland.
Yes, sir. So what I went ahead and did was I did a little bit of research with a trusted source pretty much. and investigate your constitution for your state. The reason why people are getting held up for contempt of court is because they're using the wrong constitution in the wrong court, pretty much. We'll get more in depth into that, but very interesting. When you get a chance, print up your constitution for your state and take a look at it and read everything in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to what we were saying, though. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And now,
back to our regularly scheduled program.
Right.
All right. So look,
yep.
Let's talk about this purge thing, man, because that's very interesting. We ain't gonna get too deep into it.
All right.
But theoretically, if one were to get prepared for this particular situation, what do you suppose one would have to do?
As far as getting ready, I mean, let me tell you like this. I know their game. Listen to me. All right. It's all about destabilization, divide and conquer. That's the game, right? Now, here's the thing. They always act like they're going to take your guns away because they know what that's going to cause to happen. What do you think is going to happen?
Buy more. Buy more.
Buy a whole lot more. You're going to stock ammunition, right? Right?
Reverse psychology.
You're always falling for the okie doke because most of y'all were U.S. citizens. You weren't thinking.
Exactly.
When they tell you there's going to be a shortage of toilet paper, let me ask you, is there toilet paper on the shelves right now?
And I thought that might have been a situation where they were testing the waters on that. I thought that might have been a situation. I was like, yo, what if this is a situation where they're just telling people that to see how they react and take notes from it?
That's all they ever do. You got to remember, is the government a sentient being with thought processes? No. The people who we put over us as representatives in the government are the ones making the decisions. That lets you know right there that it's infallible. It's not all powerful. It has flaws. Okay?
Yeah.
But you chose to put them over you. Now, here's the thing. I'm a rabbit trail just a little bit. Okay? Those of you who may have come from Christianity, you know the strong feelings about being honorable, listening to your government because God would want you to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Government has never been for the people. If you even look in the Bible, if some of y'all have done, historians have looked in the Bible, you'll see that at one time it was the God of nature that ruled over the people. It was never a king.
Well, the government was trying to kill Jesus, right? The
government has never been good.
Exactly.
But church folks are saying that, well, we're supposed to obey them to have the rule over us and blah, blah, blah. You're falling for the okie doke. Do you know what government is essentially saying? It's saying that you cannot govern yourself.
Precisely.
Why can't you? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that you're going to, as soon as government's not around, you're going to run and go kill somebody? You mean you don't have the faculties in your mind to know the difference between right and wrong? Okay, so first of all, right there, and I'm not saying rage against the government. My disclaimer is I'm not against Caesar's stuff. Caesar's stuff is his. I don't want his stuff. He can have his stuff. I'm not going to encroach on his stuff. However, I'm just letting you know, if you happen to be a U.S. citizen watching this, okay, that you can do it by yourself. You just said, you know what? I think that someone else can do better for me than I can do for myself. And I particularly like to have my weekends to myself where I don't have to do anything except sip, a wine cooler and grill. So therefore, I need a government that I'll set up over me to watch me, to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
That's what you did. And then you doubled down on it. And you hired your friend that lives right next door to you to be your government representative.
Hey, what can I tell you, man?
I redid my notes on evidence of citizenship. All right, Joseph. It's interesting how it seems that one demographic receives the dog whistle while others don't.
I'll be honest with you, Joseph, man. I had a very Man, geez. I actually got depressed last year when the whole COVID thing happened because I saw where it was I could feel it. Everybody who's on this channel right now, who's watching this, could feel what was about to happen. We all could feel it. You can't tell me that you are doing this right now and you did not see this coming. You knew something was coming down the pipe and you knew you couldn't save everybody you cared about. So you were depressed about it.
Right.
Now, the thing about it is I had a big argument with my dad about this, man, because like I try to look out for everybody I care about, but you can't force people to think, man, at the end of the day, this path ain't for everybody. And it's just like the Most High said pretty much. This path is definitely not for everybody, man. Some people are enlightened, some people won't be. You know, people have free will. They can do as they please. You know, so you can try to give them as much information as you want. You can lead a horse to water. You can't force them to drink. All those good things. You take somebody to the kitchen, you can't make them cook, all that stuff.
Yep.
So it pretty much is what it is at this point. If you haven't woken up to what's happening yet, with all this stuff happening, with mask mandates and people being arrested for not making people wear masks, like
Wow.
the guy in New York, I think the place is called with Cabs or something like that. I gotta look up to what the restaurant is. It's a bar in New York. So this guy was refusing to comply with the mask mandate. He says this bullshit is not a law. I'm not going to comply with it. And he said, and I want the police off my property right now, which he had every right to do.
Right.
Police left off his property, and it made the news. When it made the news, you already knew what happened. They said, look, we can't look this bad.
Right.
This is causing a resistance. Go in there and arrest this guy or whatever. We can deal with the ramifications later.
Yep.
They arrested this guy. They stripped his business license. This dude's been taking donations, and it's all the stuff's on the internet. You can probably get right on YouTube and look it up.
Yep.
But it's a bar in New York. But the guy, he got his business license taken. I mean, he can't charge you for something. He can only take donations now. And
Wow.
he lets anybody come in. There's no mask mandate there, and they can't do anything about it technically because
Wow.
you know he can't operate in commerce under Caesar, because he didn't obey Caesar's rules. But
Right.
if you're looking at that and you don't think there's anything wrong with that, it's too late.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's too late.
And it really is. And, you know, you got to get your status up. You got to get your status corrected, your standing corrected. Again, they don't mind, they being the powers that were, they don't mind that you're educated. They don't mind that you know how to administer. What they do mind is you being an idiot out here disturbing the public trust and the public peace. They do mind that you're out here trying everything that you think you know and disrupting things. That will get you in trouble. They don't mind that you have the information and knowledge. They put it there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because they need to weed out, and this is another thing, man, I wish we could talk about that haplotype. They're weeding out. They are weeding out. And there's a certain blood type and haplogroup that they're going to keep around. Did you ever see Get Out?
Yeah.
That's what we're in.
Interesting.
That's what we're in. They're going to keep a certain group around. If you happen to be old type.
Oh yeah.
Old blood type.
I knew you didn't even have to say it. I already knew it, man.
Old blood type.
Man, you got to take something for that cough, man.
I know it's, and it's funny because I keep saying "oh" when I cough. Like, I'm just saying, man. We're gonna get in trouble. My mother took the shot against my wishes. I'm hoping she get a dud.
Yeah, some of these are placebos. Let's be 100% honest. When they administer these things, some of them are placebos and some of them aren't. But are you really willing to throw your body on the dice table like that? Because I'm not.
Yeah. All right. So Kelly, I am okay. Kelly is she's trying. She said her signal is so weak she can barely get message. Okay. Is anybody else having problems with the feed?
Looks fine to me. I don't know.
Let us know how the quality of the feed is out there, please.
You said you weren't Joseph said he wasn't the only one. He was the only one not devastated. I don't know, man. I just think ahead, dude. Like, I think way ahead. So, like, yo, I saw all this stuff coming. You know, Canada got put on under. They just gave the police additional police jurisdiction to basically question people out on the street. And if you don't answer the questions, you get locked up just for being outside your house.
Yep.
Yo, that is absurd, bro. And it just makes you wonder how long until that stuff lands here. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to fearmonger and nothing like that. Man,
Right.
if you know how to carry yourself, you know how to carry yourself. But think of how many people don't. You know, it's crazy.
And a lot of people aren't going to. And that's the way, that's the design. See, they don't, remember the Georgia Guidestones say get the population down to 500 million.
Yeah.
So they don't mind that some people are here, but you know, there's 90% of people out there that have no clue. What we're discussing here tonight, some people, it would be like they just stepped into another zone, another world if they heard what we were saying. They have no clue. So count yourself fortunate that you are even, you know, somewhat awake to what's going on here, because some people don't even understand what's happening. What we're even talking about is foreign. So, you know, in every movie, in all those movies, those what are those, Resurgent and Hunger Games and what have you, there's always that people that are underground. Remember Demolition Man and all that kind of stuff. Well, you're one of those people if you're most likely here.
Yeah, Demolition Man was my movie. Right. And the interesting thing about it is that whole situation with the cops being soft and all that stuff, and how you had Simon Phoenix came back from the future and he beat the hell out of the police because they were so soft and everybody was so feminized and everybody was just pretty much useless. And you had one cop or one criminal from like 100-something years ago. What was it? How many years was it? 100 or something like that?
Yeah,
it was probably longer than that. But it was a long ass time. I know that. But dude came back to the future and basically dominated the whole entire police force. And they had to get a cop from back then that could handle him. You know, you couldn't cuss in public without getting a fine. You know, all this stuff. That I'm just waiting for the 3 seashells, man.
Right. Right. But you know what, man? It's all about control. It's all. Oh, thank you, Chris. The feed is all good. Thank you very much. The whole premise behind the whole thing, the whole global domination centralization, was all control. It wasn't about your fiat currency because it's not real anyway.
Not real. It
was all a means to an end. Okay. And that end is to control the world and to do it voluntarily. You're volunteering. You're volunteering. They didn't do anything to you. You volunteered into everything. The contract, you were just ignorant of the rules. You were ignorant of the law. It's not, you know, put it this way. More people are coming over here. They're coming over the border feeling like this is the place to be, right? This is the Holy Land. This is, oh my God, there's money in the streets. There's gold, the milk and honey's flowing in the waters and stuff like that, right? Remember, if you watch that video, one of my customers, my ex-customers or whatever, she came over from Czechoslovakia. And I was explaining how her family in Czechoslovakia is now looking at her as wealthy. You are super rich. You are super wealthy. I went to the lady's house, picked up her car. She's staying in an apartment building. She ain't all wealthy and she's struggling to get through college and school. But the perception is that if you're over here, you are filthy wealthy and rich.
Yep.
You could see the deception to get people here. Now, why do you want to get people here?
Lead lambs to slaughter.
Why do you want to get people here? Why does everybody think that this is the place to come to? Ask yourself that question.
They think we have freedoms here. That's what they believe. And they financial stability, things of that nature, pretty much.
Most people are sold on the fact that you can get on the welfare system and the government will take care of you.
Interesting, really. I know a lot of the Mexicans and things of that nature I talk to, Africans, they come over here to hustle. I mean, they come over here. These dudes are working carpentry jobs. These dudes are working cooking chef's jobs. These dudes are doctors. These dudes are becoming intertwined in construction. And I'm not just talking about the Mexicans. I'm talking about the Africans too. You got these Africans that come over here and open these construction businesses and have like 100 employees and are making multi-millions. So I've talked to a few of these guys and they say, man, America's the land of the free. It's great opportunity, such and such, you know, there you have it. So I see what you're saying, but from my point of view, from the people I've talked to, it seems like a lot of them come over here to hustle, to be honest with you.
Yes, but do they realize what they're hustling for?
Exactly. Right. No, they don't.
It's fiat currency.
Exactly.
And the fiat currency is off the backs of their hard labor and super taxed 6 times or so on the same dollar, right?
Yep.
And that money that you worked for, that fiat that you worked for, if they hit a switch, it can be gone like that.
Facts. Yep. So let me ask you a question. As far as the purge goes, do you think it'll be just in that area that used to be DC, or do you think it'll be the whole entire country? Because I would think that they would protect other buildings and other areas if they thought it would be heavy around those areas. But if that's going to be the case over there where that DC is, it would make sense as to why they put the fence up around that Capitol.
Man, let me tell you something here.
And not to go too deep into it, by the way.
I know, right? That run on the Capitol building that happened in January? What was that? Where everybody stormed it, and right?
That was fake as hell, but go ahead.
That was so contrived.
Yeah.
So set up. Because remember, the Hegelian dialectic says what? Problem. So you cause the problem, then reaction, you react to it by sending in the National Guard, and then you provide a solution. And in this HR 51, guess what solution, what they're saying is the solution. We're going to stop this from ever happening again because we will make it an exclusive area. We will cordon it off to protect it. And this would have never happened had this been all by itself apart from DC. See, the problem, reaction, solution. They do it every time. They have never stopped doing that same dance. And that's how the government consolidates more power and encroaches upon the private sector. Problem, reaction, solution. Rockefeller, 1882, established the trust here in America. Standard Oil Company, okay? And he monopolized, okay? And the people began to cry to the government and saying that the prices for oil now is inabsorbent. We can't pay, we can't afford to do something. Stop the big bad man Rockefeller, right? So then the government stepped in, like they always do, right? Problem, reaction, solution. Although they were in bed with Rockefeller, because Rockefeller,
Right.
Rockefeller was a contributing member or lobbyist to the Republican Party.
Of course.
So the government played like they were coming to the rescue of the people who were crying to the government. The big bag Rockefeller, everything's costing too much, right? So what did they do? They proposed, I think it was Benjamin Harrison, the president at the time. He proposed to regulate monopolies and trusts. But guess what? Lo and behold, that failed. But it did not fail against you and me. It failed against the big bad Rockefeller. In other words, the legislation, the order got passed and it affected you and me. So we couldn't have trust or form monopolies through a trust. But do you think it stopped Rockefeller? It did not. So my point is this, is that the problem, reaction, solution always starts with the wealthy elite who propose things here on our soil. And then they're in backdoor dealings with the acting president. What is a president? It's a title of a corporate officer.
You took the words out of my mouth.
So let me get this straight. The richest man in the world at that time, Rockefeller, right, is the world's richest tycoon and businessman who was a lobbyist and paying into the Republican Party. And guess who's in power? The president, Benjamin Harrison, who is what party? The Republican Party.
Bing.
So they made it seem like the presidency made it seem like they were going to get at the big bad Republican tycoon, but in fact, they were taking backdoor deals and funds for their party, and they slap them on the hand and throw out regulation and new laws and new rules that don't even affect them. It affects you.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how they do every time. It's called problem, reaction, solution. So now they propose that there's a vaccine, that there's a pandemic. That's the problem. What's the reaction? Shut everything down, kill the economy. And then what's the solution?
Vaccines. So question, let me ask you about these. Do you think these vaccines are a part of the whole entire plan? What do you think their purpose are? Do you think it's to basically move the population onto the next dimension? Or do you think it's basically to tell who will stand up and say something and who won't?
Okay.
I know.
Yeah. We've been on for an hour, so if we get cut off, oh well.
All right.
If you okay, you are a walking antenna. Okay, the vaccine has everything to do with the frequency. All right.
Yeah,
so now, so if you take that walking antenna frequencies, 5G out there, blah 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 blah. Okay, so again, it has everything to do with the haplotype and the haplogroup you're in. Okay, they need to test problem, reaction, solution to see who is resistant to the 5G effects and who is not. The O blood type is proven to be resistant and the fewest to die from the effects of 5G. The A blood type is proven to be the most affected and the most deaths. So check this out. Remember, a vaccine is they introduce the virus into you so that you build up antibody, right? Now, how should I put this?
Be careful, man. Watch your words. Watch your words, man. If you want to stop here, I don't blame you. But you just dropped a lot of good shit on the table, bro.
I'm gonna tell you like this. There's a certain amount of people. There are certain people here, and all I'll tell you to do is it's 8:00 Central Time. You all should be watching Get Out tonight. Get Out. The movie Get Out. If you've seen it, watch it again. There's a certain people that they need to keep around. That's all I'm going to say.
Get out of here.
They need to keep around. And so now when you look at the stars on your passport, there's certain people. Listen, hear me clearly. There's certain people that have to have a certain rating so that the police don't kill them.
Yo, that's heavy. All right, and with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna wrap it up for the night because that is heavy as hell. I think my computer's about to fall through my desk and go through the floor.
Right.
My laptop just gained 3 million pounds. Like that's heavy as hell, man.
Hey, is that drone still over your house? Because
I think it might be somewhere, man. It might have that stealth camouflage like Metal Gear Solid. You know what I mean?
So that's as far as I'm going. U.S. citizens, if you happen to be here, I'm not your daddy. A6 is not your father. We're not your brothers.
Nope.
You have a master. We talking to our people, the American nationals, the foreign nationals. Welcome.
There you go. All right, man. So look, hey, very heavy conversation tonight, man. I got a jet, but we got to pick this up again, because we got a lot more stuff to get into. It sounds like.
Absolutely. So check this out real quick. I'll make this quick announcement. If you're gonna stick around, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
Go ahead. I'm good.
I'm proposing this Tuesday. I heard that the Justice League was coming. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central. Be here. We are expecting an appearance from the Justice League. All 4 of those bad brothers, and we got 2 bad sisters too. All right, you know, because who's on Wonder Woman and who's the other? Was there another one?
There's Wonder Woman, and then there's geez, that's only Wonder Woman, ain't it?
Was it Wonder Woman the only woman on the Justice League?
I thought it was.
Oh, I guess so. Beth said yeah. Well, we got 2. We got 2 Wonder Women. How about that?
Bet.
Oh, Marvel has more, she said.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, yeah, we're gonna let you get off of here, A6. Let me see if anybody got anything they're asking you. Joseph said, "Oh, Courtney, did you hear the story of the dude whose blood is immune to COVID-19? No doubt. I wonder what blood type he is. O and B blood is the most resistant to COVID. A blood type is the least. That's right. Thank you very much for confirming that. Truth is here. Thank you. Fire. All right. Good show. All right. Thank you very much. Steve Madden, Cat Girl. Cat Girl. Oh, Cat Girl. No, she ain't. Was she on the Justice League?
What?
Nah. Cat? Nah, she ain't in the Justice League. You playing. Anyhow, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, A6. Good to see you, man. Hey, we're gonna do bigger and greater things. We're gonna keep our nose clean though, you know.
Of course. You know it is.
We laid it down a little heavy tonight. It's not typical. But anyways, shout out to Finest Thing Walking. Shout out to the Bad Wolf. I'll probably catch up to you a little bit later. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, support A6's channel. Hey, we got to get together with his people too, because we got to bring this together. There's a lot of stuff happening. And if we don't stick together, you know what happens, right? All right. Love you very much. And Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, the Justice League together, finally. And we out. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Love you.
Peace.
Bye-bye.